Married women show these 3 signs when craving something new. What happens when love stays, but desire quietly drifts elsewhere? Can a woman still be faithful in heart, but unfaithful in body? Tonight we explore the unspoken truths of married women who crave something outside their marriage. Welcome to Live Stoic, Live Strong, where we trade illusions for truth, where emotions are felt but not obeyed, where clarity is power and discipline is freedom. This is not just a channel. It's a mindset. It's a journey of conscious living. Let's begin. Hannah didn't want another man. She just wanted to feel like a woman again. A story of slow ache, silent craving, and a moment she never planned. Hannah didn't wake up one morning with a plan to betray anyone. She didn't slip into a red dress to attract attention. She didn't glance around the cafe, hoping to catch someone's eye. She didn't even realize when it started. Only that one day, the quiet at the breakfast table felt heavier than ever. Her husband was still there, physically present, but emotionally, mentally, gone. His eyes lived behind a glowing screen. His hands held the keys, the phone, the remote, but hadn't held her in a long time. It had been months since he noticed her new haircut. Years since he touched her like he used to, with intention, with presence. She still asked about his day, still smiled politely, still played the role. But inside, piece by piece, Hannah was vanishing. Not because she didn't love him, but because she no longer felt seen. Then, Daniel appeared. Not with charm or chase, but with presence. He didn't flirt. He listened. He remembered things she thought no one cared about. He looked at her, like she was still someone worth paying attention to. Not a wife, not a mom. Just Hannah. And in the smallest ways, her body responded. It remembered what it felt like to be noticed, desired, respected. One evening, Daniel gently brushed a lock of hair behind her ear. She didn't pull away. She didn't speak. But she leaned in, just a little. It wasn't bold. It wasn't loud. But it was real. That night, Hannah didn't cross the line. She didn't betray her vows. But she crossed a line within herself. Because something had shifted. Not because she wanted Daniel, but because she wanted to feel human again. To feel like a woman, not just a role. Touched, desired, alive. She never planned for it to happen. But life doesn't always betray us with grand gestures. Sometimes, the deepest cracks start in silence. In eyes that hold us too long. In hands that linger. In words that sound casual, but feel like air to someone slowly drowning. That moment, quiet, gentle, unnoticed by others, was the beginning of Hannah's silent storm. From the bottom of my heart, I want to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you, no matter where you are in the world, for taking the time to watch this video. Your presence and support are the driving force that keeps me creating and sharing. No words can truly capture the depth of my appreciation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing, and thank you for walking this journey with me. Not every man who has a wife sees only his wife. And not every woman who has a husband has eyes only for him. Marriage, no matter how strong or sincere, is never simple. It's layered, messy, unpredictable. People often think that once you say "I do," all desires align neatly into one home. But real life doesn't work that way. Because being married with love and being married with sexual fulfillment are not always the same. A woman can deeply love her husband. She can respect him, care for him, want him to be happy, and still feel drawn to someone else. This isn't weakness. It's not betrayal. It's the complex human truth that love and desire sometimes walk in different directions. And that's what tonight's video is about. The inner world of a married woman who finds herself attracted to another man. What does it mean? Is it love? Or is it something else? Let's break it down from a psychological perspective. Studies and real-world surveys reveal a consistent truth. When a woman in a committed marriage begins to feel drawn to another man, it's usually not love. What looks like love is often a symptom of emotional or physical lack, a reflection of what's missing at home. It could be emotional absence, lack of care, loneliness in the relationship, or most commonly, a deep, silent sexual dissatisfaction. These feelings, these gaps, create space, and that space invites energy from the outside. Not necessarily because she's chasing someone new, but because she's trying to fill what's gone empty within. Take this example. A woman who hasn't been touched passionately in months, whose husband speaks more to his phone than to her, who feels like a housekeeper more than a partner. She might not intend to cheat. She might not even look for it. But when a man notices her, really notices her, and gives her attention, a door opens. And here's what many surveys make clear. Over 70% of women who have affairs do it not for love, but for sex. Let that settle. Not because she fell in love, but because she felt unseen, undesired, unfulfilled. Of course, other motivations exist. Material support, emotional companionship, social status. But those are secondary. The main force, time and again, is desire. Pure, personal, unapologetic. Now, some women may believe they're seeking spiritual comfort. They might say, "I just needed someone to understand me." But often, that's not the full truth. What they're really seeking, consciously or not, is the thrill of being wanted again. Of being touched with hunger, not habit. Of being seen as a woman, not just a wife or a mother. And here's the difference. When a woman has an affair for money or material gain, sex is the means to an end. But when the reason is sex, then emotional excuses are just tools to reach the body. Many women don't even realize it at first. They think they found emotional connection, but what they're addicted to is the return of physical fire. And once she tastes it again, the attention, the touch, the release, it becomes harder to turn back. Because what she found outside was what she stopped feeling inside. So what is the final outcome of this craving? Is it escape, freedom, or just another form of emptiness? We've just uncovered a powerful truth. That desire, not always love, is often the invisible thread pulling a married woman toward another man. So how can we recognize when this shift is happening? What are the real signs that a woman, though still in a marriage, is opening the emotional and physical door to someone else? Let's talk about that. The first sign is this. A married woman who frequently chats or texts with another man, especially to confide about her personal or family issues, is quietly signaling something deeper. At first glance, it may seem harmless, but make no mistake. When a woman begins to open up about her marriage, her home, and her emotional life to another man, not a friend, not a therapist, but a specific man, it's a red flag. You see, when a woman is still emotionally committed to her marriage, even during tough times, she usually keeps those struggles within her circle of trust. Her close friends, her siblings, perhaps a female colleague. But the moment she starts sharing those intimate details with a man who is not her husband, that means something has shifted. That sharing is not just for comfort. It's a signal, a subtle message sent. I'm not happy where I am. I'm lonely. I want you to know how I feel, because maybe you're the one I want to feel it with. These confessions often come wrapped in vulnerability. They may start off as emotional support, but underneath, there's curiosity, a test. She's measuring his response. Will he listen? Will he care? And when he does, the emotional bond begins to build. That emotional intimacy becomes the soft bridge that leads to physical closeness. And once crossed, it's rarely just emotional anymore. And then comes the second, stronger sign. She begins to criticize her husband in front of the other man, while praising the man she's talking to. Even if she doesn't say much about her marriage, listen closely. When a married woman starts drawing comparisons, subtly highlighting how the other man is more kind, more understanding, more ambitious, while painting her husband in a lesser light, it's not just idle talk, it's preparation. She's building a new emotional space where she feels seen, heard, and possibly desired. That contrast she draws between her husband and the other man is her internal justification. I'm not betraying love, I'm choosing connection. But let's be clear. When a woman starts placing another man emotionally above her husband, it's only a matter of time before her body follows her words. As we explored earlier, when a married woman starts to confide in another man, and especially when she begins to compare him to her husband, the emotional gap has already begun to widen. But things don't just stop at words. The next signs are far more telling and far more dangerous. One of the clearest signs is this. The man she is constantly praising is the very man she wants. It might sound subtle at first. You're so thoughtful, not like my husband. Or, you always remember the little things, I wish he did too. At first glance, it may seem like casual conversation. But in truth, these comparisons are invitations. Each compliment toward you, each criticism toward her husband, is a quiet hint, a breadcrumb leading to one conclusion. She's choosing you in her mind, even if she hasn't said it out loud. And when the comparison turns intimate, when she starts hinting that her husband isn't good in bed, the message becomes crystal clear. Because when a married woman tells you something like, my husband, he's just not satisfying me, it's not an accident. It's not a slip of the tongue. It's an invitation, spoken without directly asking, to be the one who fills the space her husband no longer can. And then comes the third, and often final sign. Physical contact. In principle, a married woman should not engage in touch beyond the boundaries of her relationship. But when that line is crossed, even subtly, it reveals something important. Whether she initiates the touch, or simply doesn't pull away when touched, the meaning is the same. She's allowing her body to speak where words stay silent. She's giving permission, and that permission is powerful. Sometimes it's a light touch on the shoulder. Sometimes a brush of the arm that lingers just a second too long. Or maybe she lets you tuck her hair behind her ear, just once. but doesn't stop you the next time either. These gestures may seem innocent to the untrained eye, but they carry the weight of intent. Add to that the suggestive words, playful flirting, teasing jokes about intimacy, cheeky remarks about if only we weren't both taken, and suddenly a line has already been crossed. And here's the truth. Not all jokes are jokes. The ones who don't mean it laugh and move on. But the ones who do, the ones testing the waters, use humor to soften the signal. Because once both sides have the same unspoken purpose, the teasing doesn't stay teasing for long. It becomes foreplay for betrayal. It becomes the spark that ignites the fire. And don't be mistaken, when a woman is determined to deceive, she can be far more daring, more calculated, and more intense than a man. Because when she's emotionally involved, she doesn't just flirt, she dives all in. Some betrayals begin not with a lie, but with a silence. Some hands are held not out of love, but out of emptiness. Marriage isn't broken by one mistake. It's broken by the 1,000 tiny moments we ignore until someone else notices them. So if you're in it, be all in. Protect what's yours. Communicate. Touch. See her. Hear him. Because when you don't, someone else will. Live awake. Love deliberately. And always. Thank you for your time. If an idea in this video touched you, let it settle in your heart. Each time you return, you might hear something new. Perhaps it will reach even deeper. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. See you in the next video, where we'll take another step together on this journey of inner discovery.